go see a doctor, get a cognitive test, and start thinking about things that you can do. So some of the most simplest things that you can do is get 6,000-7,000 steps a day. So I tell my parents, I tell my dad.
For your cognition.
Oh yeah. Like get up, especially in the early morning when the sun is starting to come up, and just go for a walk. 6,000-7,000 steps a day will help to preserve your cognition. And these are simple things that you can do, right? Yeah. And so, it's one of the things that I just talk about all the time. I think it's important.
Even with exercise, right? Like people, think that we're supposed to go to the gym for like an hour and a half.
Oh yeah.
Workout. Like you really don't need that much, right? Like you don't need an hour. You probably just need like 30 minutes,
right? Exactly.
How many days a week? Not 7.
Exactly. Right. No, this was. I really love the book, Outlive, and
it's a great book.
Exactly. And I have my Substack where I talk about this.
Yeah.
Exercise is better than taking any blood pressure medication.
Yes.
Exercise is better than anything a doctor can offer you, but you have to do the right type of exercise. And so we call it what's called zone 2 endurance. And zone 2 endurance, for people who don't know about it, it's when your heart rate is high enough that you can still have a conversation, but you're sweating, right?
Yes.
And you have like these different zones. It's like a zone where you burn a lot of fat. And now with the new Whoops and the Apple Watches, they'll actually tell you when your heart rate, you're in zone 2. And you need to do that about 30 to 45 minutes a day. So that could be cycling, that could be in your Peloton, that could be, going for like a hard hike, light jogging. Yeah. And you can still hold a conversation. Yeah. You need to be doing like 3 or 4 times a week. The other big thing that you need to be doing, which people find it easy to do aerobic exercise, it actually makes you feel good, is strength training.
Strength training is so good.
You have to strength train, especially in the 40s and 50s. Yeah. 2 to 3 times a week, and it has to be heavy weights. Mm-hmm. It has to be heavy weights, and you're doing about 45 minutes of that. Mm-hmm. And then once a week, you want to do what's called HIIT, high intensity interval training, where you're just going nuts. You're just going up and down a flight of stairs. You're getting your heart rate up, to 180s, 190s, your max heart rate. And you do that more like 15 to 20 minutes once a week. If you do it too much, you actually start to have the opposite effect. You start to have too much inflammation. Yeah. But doing the right exercises consistently is so important. One of the books that I also recommend is a book called Atomic Habits. I don't know if you've read that one.
Yes, it's a great book. Yeah.
It's like, how do you start a good habit?
Yeah.
It's doing something really easy consistently. Mm-hmm. So I tell my patients, if you're going to go to the gym, the first week, just put your gym clothes on, drive to the gym. Don't even go inside. Yeah. Just drive to the gym. And then when you get into the gym, just do 10 to 15 minutes of the treadmill zone 2. Right. Yeah. And then slowly, as that becomes more of a consistent, then you can sort of raise the intensity of it. But consistency matters more than intensity. So what we tend to do, okay, I'm gonna, I had one of my patients, like, look, I'm gonna go to the gym today, I'm gonna work out, do an hour, like, bro. Yeah. All I want you to do is go for a walk. Mm-hmm. Go for a walk. 10, 15 minutes. I tell so many people and do that every day. Walk. Like,
exactly. Especially if you're overweight. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you may not want to go to the gym just yet. Like, you may just want to get your cardio up, get your heart rate pumping, build some discipline, walk around. If you can walk around your neighborhood for 15 minutes, you can start going to the gym. You'll be able to do it. But you might be setting yourself up for failure by setting this very high goal, going to the gym, you go there, you don't know what the heck is going on, and then you don't feel good.
And sometimes it can be dangerous. Yeah, you notice, totally. As anesthesiologists, if someone's like severely overweight, 400 or 500 pounds, and I had a patient that was that heavy, and I said to him, like, do not go on a treadmill, 12%. I just want you to walk. Yeah. Because if you overexert yourself, you can have a heart attack. Yeah. You can actually go into cardiac arrest, right? So we need to get enough weight off and get your body to work itself up enough that you actually can tolerate what you're about to put your body through. Yeah. So having those conversations with doctors are important. In that book, Outlive, he talks about the concept of VO2 max. Mm-hmm. And I actually started doing that on my patients. I would go and, I take them someplace in El Segundo, get them on a treadmill, and they got the mask on. Yeah. And I want to know, first and foremost, what can your body tolerate? Yeah. And then we slowly, by changing your habits, walking, hiking, cycling, easy things for you to do, we do like intermittent fasting, where we start slow, where we'll stop eating at 8 p.m. and you don't eat again until 8 a.m. Do like a 12-hour fast.
Do you see any differences with the sexes with intermittent fasting?
There is a difference. That? Oh man, there's a difference. Man, and I'm still learning the science behind it. With men, when they do it, they start to see the weight come off quickly. And women always say, man, I did it, but there's something that's different about the biology where the intermittent fasting, you see much, in my opinion, in my practice, you see much faster results in the men than you do the women. And at first I didn't want to admit it. Oh, biology, we're the same. No, we're different.
Yes.
And so what I tell my female patients is to be patient. And in addition to that, I really encourage them to do strength training.
Absolutely.
And then,
so good for women.
right, I do
especially
something
with the risk of osteoporosis.
Exactly. Right, exactly.
Yep.
I get a DEXA scan that looks at their body sort of like fat distribution, how much muscle they get, because all of us are really obsessed with how much we weigh. And I'm like, no, it's not about the weight. It's about your body's distribution of fat, muscle, and water. And so if I know how much visceral fat you have, I know how much protein, amount of muscle you have, I can give you a program where we're going to decrease fat, visceral fat, and increase the mass. And that might mean that your weight doesn't drop quickly or immediately, but if you have more muscle, we know that's a healthy in terms of metabolism for you.
VO2 max should be, can you think of, this is crazy, right? You walk into an office and they just take your vitals and they say, okay, based off of this, you're healthy or not.
Right. Right.
We need further follow-up or you can go home.
Right. If I'm just going to keep it real. If you're walking to a practice, especially someone our age, 40s and 50s, and you don't know your VO2 max, because it's not being tested. You don't know what your body fat distribution is, how much visceral fat you have. If you don't know where you are in terms of your cognition, then these are things I want you to start thinking about. And some of these things like DEXA scans, it's like $50. You can find it someplace locally. Definitely have a doctor that understands how to analyze it and tell you what to do about it. VO2 max is becoming more and more popular. You can go into some places and find some doctors who are doing it. I'm one of the physicians that does it. Then cognitive tests, just being aware. I had a patient of mine and she felt like she was losing her hearing. And she kept on telling her PCP like, hey, I think I need a hearing test. Like, nah, you're tripping. I'm like, no. Hearing loss is a risk factor for dementia. So I was like, you're not tripping. You need to get a hearing test. And if there's a real hearing loss, you need to get a hearing aid. And there are ways of doing it now. I know, when we're young, we don't want people seeing a hearing aid, but it's so important for your cognition. If you have hearing loss, you're increasing your risk of dementia significantly. So cognition, knowing what your body fat distribution is, your body composition is, and knowing your VO2 max are very important numbers, in addition to knowing what your blood pressure is, what your hemoglobin 1AC is, and also what your cholesterol is as well. So giving people the tools and information so they can go out and seek it and they can start advocating for themselves. It's so important.